Of the four Kabbalistic worlds, earth being at the bottom and fire being at the very top, water is traditionally considered to be second from the top. I, however, place it second from the bottom. There are many different traditional ways of making this cup. I'll show you in a moment. This is my particular design, and I'll show you right now how I made it. So what do we have here? We've got a 5-petaled flower with another 5-petaled flower in its heart. In the center of the 5-petaled flower, we've got 13 small dots, and we've got 3 triangles forming one greater triangle. It's an inverted triangle with a point towards the bottom. The 5-petaled flower is a symbol of Venus, which describes a pentagram in the sky, the way the Earth moves around the sun, and Venus also moves around the sun a little bit faster. It seems to go all over the place, and it describes a pentagram in the sky as we look at it from our earthly perspective. So Venus is a divine feminine symbol, and it seemed to fit this perfectly as the symbol that describes water and the divine feminine. What's important about the cup is the fact that it's a container. It's a container without which there can be no contained, right? If we look at the Ace of Cups, we can see the dove bringing the Holy Spirit into the cup. I open up in front of me here, I've got the second volume, the second deluxe volume of Promethea. And this is the part where Promethea reaches Bina, which is the third sphere, the third sephira in the Tree of Life. And it's the one that's attributed to Saturn, and it's the one that's attributed to the divine feminine. The triangle aspect might be a little on the nose here. Promethea and her companion are being shown around by John Dee, who is also showing them around the sphere of Bina. He's being his watchtower, of course. The sphere of Bina is actually attributed to Earth, and you can see it over here. However, the fact that it's attributed to water also is undeniable. The fact that it's Earth is because it's Saturn, and so it might simply be the earthly attribute of it, right? Okay, so then he goes into the two aspects of the divine feminine, the whore of Babylon and Mary being the two sides of the same coin. I really like the way she says somewhere over here how it's really not she who changes, but rather the viewer's eye, as it were. Okay. So yeah, lots of cup symbology over here, and some images from the Thoth Tarot, which you probably recognize. So yeah, that's interesting. Up here is actually from the first volume of the same book, Promethea, by Alan Moore, where she's introduced to the 4 magical weapons. There's a nice conversation that goes on over here saying elements, but you said I needed 4 weapons. Well, 4 elements, 4 magical weapons, 4 essential human qualities. They're all the same thing in a way. Spirit, compassion, intellect, and physical existence. You need all of them to be Promethea or to be human. So there we go. These are basically 4 aspects of what it is to be an entity. In fact, I'd go as far as to say. So this is actually the Golden Dawn cup, which is described in the Book of the Golden Dawn. I know that it's at the time of recording, it's out of print, and a lot of people are panicking about that. It's a big seller for Llewellyn, and yes, they're bound to run out of print at some point, but you can be absolutely certain that it'll come back into print. So yeah, so there's a description right here of the cup, which is supposed to, according to the Golden Dawn system, of course, the bowl should be somewhat the shape of a crocus flower, must show 8 petals. A smooth glass cup is preferable unless it's got 8 cuts or ridges, which I suppose would make it even better. Now, I've no idea why they've gone with 8. Obviously, the blue color makes sense, right? It should be colored bright blue, edged with bright orange color. Presumably that's because those are the contrasting colors that the Golden Dawn attribute to the angel Gabriel, the angel to the west, being water. And here's a picture from the Golden Dawn shop, which I believe is held by Chicken Tabitha Cicero. And here's a couple of other examples with a triangular base there. The triangle's really interesting for me because if you go from the numbers 1 through to infinity, start at 1, a point has location but doesn't have dimension, right? You can't measure the height or the width of a point. When you have 2 points, then you have a line. This is the first time you actually have dimension, but it's not possible to measure it because everything being relative, if you've only got 2 points, then it is the only measure that you have. Once you have 3 points is the first time that you can have some kind of 2-dimensional plane. So it's probably appropriate that Bina, in the 3rd Sephira in the Tree of Life, should represent form, right? There we go. So that's where we have our 3 triangles from. I found it interesting also that the flower should be represented over here on the card of death, this 5-petaled rose on the card of death, and it happens to be the 13th card. And well, as it turns out, the number 13 is the number of lunar months in a solar year. And well, being a symbol of the divine feminine, it makes sense for the moon to be represented. So there we go, the number 13 there, representing the moon. Now, it may be significant to say that I'm recording this on Halloween of 2020, and so it feels like an appropriate time to be probably consecrating this at later parts of this evening. So there we go. That's my overview of my magical weapon of the cup. Thanks very much for watching the video. As always, I'd like to thank my members who support this channel, and in particular the Magister Venerabilis, the level 3 members, those being Osvaldo Gonzalez Nunez, Andrew Kudlak, Aristarchus, Mateusz Sadowski, Chase Lawrence, Mrs. CYM So Fly, Medusa of Chaos, Helbert Space, Seidr, Matu, Stev Berner, Arcanum Luminarium, Mystic Imagination, Rob Agrees, Merrily Duffy, Justin Lloyd, Meta Gordy, Oblivion Knight, Rahul Nair, Municipal Waste 666, Suncat, Ted Kaiser, Grillo Alba, Sean Glenn, J. Joseph Safi, Kyle Walker, Roluch Ashron, FMA, Charbon, Patrick, Arcantum by Mr. Friborg, Mr. Gunwich, The Jade Ghost, Miles Ponce, Timothy Owens, SMQAI, Z. Danielle Barnett, and Jason. Thanks again for watching the video. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you very soon with another video. Bye-bye.